How do colleges make money? You all must be curious about how much money USA colleges make with the big amount of fees they take every year from each student. In this case study, we will break the number down. There are several ways of producing revenue for colleges and universities to run their budget and educate their pupils, including tuition fees. Students pay tuition fees to the college and universities for exchanging knowledge and a renowned certificate. Graduates can have many quality rewards. They carry the degree for higher incomes, which will be related for their whole life. In another way, on average a bachelor's degree worths a lifetime income of $2.8 million. But for the breakdown of attendance, making money becomes challenging for the schools of higher education. The total enrollment of the colleges decreased by 2.7% in the fall 2021 term. This means there is 476,100 students short in the fall term. Lower enrollment would cost finding a new way to earn revenue for colleges and universities. Sometimes they have to cut their budget. In this video, we will depict the problems colleges and universities face in earning and how they generate revenue. Resources. Colleges and universities can fill their fund in many ways. The sources are different by institution basis, whether the institution is public, private, or for-profit and not-for-profit basis. There is a special offer from the government for the starters, including both 2 years and 4 years of school. For example, in 2018, colleges and universities were offered $149 billion, which was provided in 3 ways. First, for student aid including scholarship, study, work, loans, and grants. And other ways, the money went for research purposes, and the last way is to contract good services. All the institutions make revenue from tuition money and an official funding, but the formula runs differently. Earnings of public and state institutions. If we analyze public colleges and universities, revenue sources mostly depended on tuition fees paid by the students. In the year 2021-22, regular students who attended public or state universities paid the amount of $27,023. State universities also get their funding source from state tax revenues, but the amount declined recently. A study report by the Center on Budget Policy Priorities (CBPP) says that 2- and 4-year colleges got over $6.6 billion more in the 2008 year than the year of 2018. Of the decline of this state funding, tuition rose 37% since 2008, from the reports of CBPP. Besides, endowment builds another source of revenue. Endowment means receiving money from the students for completing their goals. Students kind of invest money for achieving their goals. Schools that receive endowment money can upgrade their fund and use them on a research project or increase aid packages for eligible students. $35.4 million is the endowment of public colleges and universities. Private colleges and universities also make money from tuition fees. The process is different from the public institution because private institutions charge their students significantly higher than public institutions. The amount of $35,807 is the average cost of tuition in 4-year private universities for the 2021-22 academic years. If they lose a single student, it will hunt them nearly $150,000 of revenue from tuition fees for the next 4 years. They also receive an endowment from the students, which is a median of $37.1 million. Though some institution receives much higher endowment, for example, Harvard University's endowment distributed $2 billion as the fiscal year ends June 30, 2021. This money was spent to fund specific academic funds and scholarships. The bigger they receive the endowment, the bigger they give scholarships. But they don't receive any state funding, so they charge everything higher than public and state universities. Facts of profit not-for-profit schools. By hearing about both profit and not-for-profit, we can guess how it makes money and how much it costs students. It influences the quality of the education a student receives and how money is invested into the school's education programs. If we take an example, Harvard is a private university that was established on a nonprofit basis. They usually don't have to pay their taxes. Their revenue charge is with no taxes. Besides, Harvard presents a high-quality education. For full-time students, the annual tuition bills are $54,768. In 2021, Harvard received 17% of its total revenue from tuition fees and 39% from the endowment, and the rest is for grants, gifts, and research. For-profit schools charge way higher than not-for-profit schools. For example, Full Sail University, a private for-profit school, charges around $45,500, $89,000 tuition fees for achieving an undergraduate degree. Apart from this, revenue-motive schools earn around $14 billion per year from sports sections. Do the institutions make a lot of money? Some of them might, depending on the tuition they charge, the amount of federal or non-federal assistance they receive, and how successful their athletic program turns out to be. In general, a school stands to profit more from tuition and athletics if it is bigger, more well-known, or more exclusive. At last, the authorities of institutions should be aware of all earning sources and avoid the downfall of revenue. If they can make money, the performance of that institution will rise much higher. But there are also many difficulties, so that sometimes they are unable to make a profit and face so many threats. It also put a huge impact on a student lives. So, the authorities of an institution should know all the paths of flowing money and analyze them regularly. That will help them to recover. They have to fulfill their necessary funding and avoid losses. The pandemic has brought attention to how dependent colleges and universities are on tuition, as well as how expensive college is getting for many students. To prevent a worst-case situation, schools will need to manage their finances and increase enrollment strategically. In the past 2 years, this scenario, the college closing entirely or vanishing into a merger with a stronger institution, has become more typical. The reputation goes much higher for the institutions that can profit, and others, their name, fame, quality, and education, everything falls. So, making money should be an important factor to note.